Hello friends, it's time for yet another diagnosis video because I got a lot going on, and I figure if we're going to be social media friends, it's helpful to have some context. Today's video is all about how I was diagnosed with ADHD at 40 years of age. Last fall, I found the most wonderful preschool to send Amir to. It's very much arts focused, and as a kid who really loves music and dance, I was like, yeah, this is going to be perfect for him. So imagine my surprise when maybe about a week or two into school, I go to pick him up and one of the administrators is like, hey Cindy, can I talk to you for a second? And I'm like, uh-oh, am I in trouble? And she's like, no, you're not in trouble. Amir had a really rough day today. He was a little overstimulated and he was throwing a tantrum. He threw his head back and someone got hurt. And I was like, ooh, sorry. And that was the first of several meetings with the school administrators because apparently this was a daily occurrence for him. I decided to come to the school to observe Amir in class so I could see if this was like typical toddler behavior or if there was something deeper going on. I hid in the corner so Amir couldn't see me and I just observed. And when the class went on their walk, I trailed behind them a few feet. I'm like ducking behind trees. The conclusion that I came to after observing the classroom was that my child was the problem, and I was like, oh, my child is a poster child for ADHD. I decided that I was going to start looking into getting Amir a neuropsych evaluation because I was like, it could be ADHD. I'm also seeing some behaviors that overlap with being on the autism spectrum. So I was like, no, we need concrete answers here. Shortly after that, I checked my email and there is someone whose mailing list I'm on who's advertising an ADHD summit. So I signed up for the summit. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Let me get more information about ADHD. So I watched all the videos and let's just say I never felt so seen before in my life. By the end of the summit, I was like, wait a minute, where do I sign up for this evaluation? Because either I have ADHD or I am just a hot mess and I need answers. I immediately made an appointment to see my primary care physician so that she could write me a referral for a neuropsych evaluation. But I also figured that there would probably be a long wait time. So I also did some research and found some clinics that will do the neuropsych evaluation for me out of pocket. I was able to get an appointment with the SAC Center within 2 weeks, and part of the reason why I chose them is because they had a lot of experience with diagnosing high masking individuals, women of color, highly functioning individuals, and I was like, I need someone who's going to catch all the masking I've been doing for the past 40 years. And I still kept the appointment with my primary care physician. It ended up being a couple of days before my appointment with the SAC Center. So I went in and I told the doctor, I was like, hey, I need a referral for a neuropsych evaluation because I think I have ADHD. And she says, you don't have ADHD. And I'm like, I think I do. I've been doing a ton of research on it and I think I'm just highly functioning. And she was like, people with ADHD are not highly functioning. And I was like, okay, well, I already have an evaluation scheduled for Sunday, so it's fine. And she was like, oh, no, in that case, I want you to get a second opinion because, these doctors, they're just giving away medication like candy and, And I'm thinking, what? I'm not chasing after no medication. I literally just want someone to explain the last 40 years of my life. So she writes me the referral and I go on about my business. By now, I'm actually pretty convinced that I have it because, as the research queen, I have read all of the diagnostic criteria in the DSM-5. I know exactly what traits and behaviors they're looking for. I know that I have to show that I've had these symptoms since childhood. So I go through all my files looking for receipts. And sure enough, there are all the report cards where teachers are saying, yeah, Cindy's really struggling to get her homework done. I think one of the clearest examples of how this showed up for me in school was in middle school. I was in a special program where we got to work at our own pace in math. Now, when left to my own devices, I actually skipped 2 grades of math. But then, when I got to high school and I had to be on everyone else's timetable, I got C's and D's in trigonometry because I didn't do my homework. And then after I would fail the exam and do the test corrections, I would finally learn how to do the skill. And I got a 93 on the Regents. It wasn't a matter of me not being able to do it. I just couldn't get myself to do the damn homework. So I filled out all the paperwork. I used all of these examples, and I gave a very thorough picture of how I was struggling with executive functioning skills and how I was masking. The next morning I did the full evaluation. I was interviewed by the psychologist. I had to fill out a ton of online assessments. At the end of the evaluation, the psychologist said, you know, I knew you had ADHD just from reading your answers to the initial paperwork that you filled out. But of course, we did all of these other online assessments and they just confirmed what I already knew. When I tell you I got off that call and jumped for joy, I was so excited that there was actually an explanation for this shit. And then a couple of weeks later, I had my second opinion appointment with a psychiatrist, and ironically, her evaluation was significantly less detailed than the one that I got on my own. It was basically an interview, maybe for like 45 minutes to an hour, and by the end of it, she was like, oh yeah, you definitely have ADHD. You just present like someone who has it based on all my years of clinical experience. So apparently there's an ADHD vibe, and I have it. So yeah, that is the story of how I was diagnosed with ADHD at 40 years old. I'm definitely gonna share more about my experience of processing the diagnosis and how I've been managing symptoms and all the things. So stay tuned.